Since my Towers of Mundus video seemed to go over pretty well, I thought I'd try doing a more in-depth video on one of the better known towers. And the three we probably know most about are Adamantia, White Gold, and Numidium, which I think I said in the other video. At this time I'm going to try going a bit deeper into the Numidium, or the Brass Tower. There will once again be links in the description to articles I used, as well as some timestamps for anyone who want to skip ahead to specific subjects. The Numidium has played a pretty major role in the Elder Scrolls lore. It is believed to be responsible for the disappearance of the dwarves, with the most commonly accepted theory being that they became the divine skin of the Brass Tower itself during the Battle of Red Mountain. In the Elder Scrolls III Morrowind, the last living dwarf, Yagrum Bagarn, suggested that in tampering with the heart of Lorkhan, his entire race was displaced to an outer realm of Oblivion. And I've even seen some theories that suggest that they were cast forward in time and that they'll be returning in a later era. Beyond this, the Numidium was also used by Tiber Septim to unite Tamriel under one rule, and it is believed to have played a major role in his mantling of Shor, the Nord aspect of Lorkhan. Tiber's death and ascension took place in 3rd Era 38, where he became the 9th Divine. This pantheon is also alternatively known as the 8 in 1 because of Tiber Septim's unique origins. The 8 other divines having arisen from the interplay between Anu and Padme before the creation of Mundus, and Tiber's apotheosis coming much later. The Brass Tower was also used again in 3rd Era 417, causing the Warp in the West, or the Miracle of Peace, in the Iliac Bay region during the events of the Elder Scrolls II Daggerfall. The tower was destroyed during this event, but Dagath-Ur attempted to create a second Numidium, the Akulu Khan, which was destroyed before completion by the Nerevarine in 3rd Era 427. You have probably not heard the fairy tale of Numidium, but you need to. The legend dates back to the earliest parts of the 3rd Era. Numidium was supposed to be a giant so big his hand could knock the moons from the sky. I do not recall from the stories whether Numidium was supposed to be good or bad, but the legends used to scare me as a child. The legends are in fact true. There was a Numidium, and if situations continue, he will come again. An excerpt from a letter from an anonymous source received by the agent in Daggerfall. The Numidium, Anumidium Brass Tower, or Walk Brass, was constructed by the tonal architect Lord Kagernak. This was a massive golem construct which the Dwemer intended to serve as a new god. Though their exact intentions are somewhat unclear, it is believed its main uses would have been to retake Resdain from the Chimer, and to either aid the Dwemer race in achieving immortality, or facilitate their collective transcendence of the mortal plane, Mundus. In practice, the Numidium was a devastating weapon, supposedly a 1,000-foot tall automaton, or golem of sorts, which was used later to conquer all of Tamriel, and also was responsible for the Warp in the West. In the First Era, the Ayleid Archmage, Anumeril, was somehow able to predict the Brass Tower before its creation when making the Staff of Towers. The Staff of Towers was a powerful time-bending artifact composed of 8 segments, each of which corresponded to one of the Towers of Nirn, and even included a crafted segment of polished brass which represented the Numidium. Sometime in the First Era, the Dwemer discovered the heart of Lorkhan beneath Red Mountain. While there are many conflicting stories, many agree that Craft Lord Kagernak created a set of tools known as Keening, Sunder, and Wraithguard to forge mythopoeic enchantments and tap into the power of the heart. The tonal architect Kagernak believed that he could use his tools to manipulate the heart and allow his people to transcend the mundus. The Numidium was intended as a vessel for said apotheosis. Some of the Dwemer were skeptical of this idea and worried about potential risks, and it is believed that during the War of the First Council, Kagernak attempted to carry out his plans before being fully prepared, which resulted in the disappearance of his people. All of the works of the Dwemer were left behind, and Kagernak's tools came into the possession of the Tribunal, who used the heart to make themselves living gods. Near the end of the Second Era, the Tribunal still had possession of the Brass Tower. However, they had lost access to the heart of Lorkhan, and with Tiber Septim turning his attentions to Morrowind in Second Era 882, the Tribunal chose to sign an armistice, giving the Golem to Tiber and peacefully integrating into the Empire while maintaining some level of autonomy. From here, Tiber Septim tasked Imperial Battle Mage Zurin Arctis with repairing the Numidium. Some rumors claim that the Halls of Colossus and elsewhere were constructed for this purpose. However, other sources also claim that the Halls of Colossus may have existed as far back as the Merethic era. During the repairs of the Numidium, Arctis also created the Totem of Tiber Septim, an artifact which allowed those of royal lineage to control the Numidium, as well as a power source to substitute the Heart of Lorkhan, known as the Mantella. The Mantella was a large soul gem that could be used to power the Brass Tower, using the life force of a powerful being. Some sources say that Zurin Arctis used his own heart to provide this life force, while others claim he used the soul of Ysmir Wulfharth, an undead being who may have been a mortal avatar of Lorkhan. In Second Era 896, the Numidium was activated near the city of Rimmon in Elsewhere. Numidium proved very effective in bringing down the mighty Aldmeri dominion of the Somerset Isles, and thus completed Tiber Septim's conquest of Tamriel. The official story says that after defeating all of his enemies, Tiber began using the Numidium to destroy all of the royal families of Tamriel who had been neutral, and placing those who he knew to be loyal on their thrones. Zurin Arctis was said to disagree with this sort of purge, and attempted to reclaim his heart from the Mantella. In the following battle, both Arctis and the construct were said to have been destroyed, with the Mantella having been blown into Aetherius. With the loss of the Mantella, Zurin Arctis could not truly die and became an undead being known as the Underking. The heretical version of this story claims that Zurin Arctis perished while trapping Wulfharth's soul, and soon after the conquest of Somerset, an undead wizard, the Wulfharth version of the Underking, appeared and destroyed the Numidium. Following its destruction in the Second Era, its pieces were scattered across Tamriel. In the Third Era, and the centuries that followed, the Blades were tasked with collecting the pieces of Numidium. During the reign of Uriel Septim VII, the Numidium's construction was nearly complete, save for the Mantella and the Totem of Tiber Septim, both of which were located around Third Era 401. The Mantella's resting place in Aetherius was divined, and the totem was rediscovered in the Iliac Bay region. The finding of the totem nearly triggered a civil war, as independent city-states in the region attempted to gain the artifact, beginning with the murder of King Lysandus of Daggerfall. Ultimately, an agent of the Blades sent by the Emperor recovered the totem of Tiber Septim. But somehow, 7 of the major powers in the region ended up in simultaneous possession of the artifact. The agent then traveled to the Mantella&Mantellan Crux and recovered the Mantella from Aetherius. As a result of this, in Third Era 417, each of the powers activated their own Numidium, and at least 5 of them ravaged large areas of Hammerfell and High Rock. This event, now known as the Warp in the West, or the Miracle of Peace, greatly changed the political landscape of the Iliac Bay region. It is believed the Underking reclaimed his heart from the Mantella, leading to the Numidium's destruction once again, as well as the Underking's supposed long-wanted death. Inasmuch as this account confirms and validates the current borders of these counties, as ordained by the Nine, the Miracle of Peace serves imperial objectives of peaceful consolidation of ancient petty states and sovereigns into manageable imperial jurisdictions. The other remarkable features of these events, mass disappearances, armies mysteriously transported hundreds of miles, or completely annihilated, titanic storms and celestial phenomena, apparent local discontinuities of time, fit comfortably into the notion that these events are part of a vast, mysterious divine intervention. Excerpt from The Warp in the West, a report compiled by Ulvius Tarot, Blade's archivist. Next, I thought I'd go over some of the adjacent lore that is also important to the Numidium, such as the Mantella and the Mantellan Crux. The Mantella was a large green gem that has also been referred to as a crux of transcendence, that contained the life force of an entity known as the Underking. The Mantella was used to power the Numidium on 2 occasions, once by Tiber Septim to conclude his conquest of Tamriel, and later to trigger the Warp in the West. Some sources conflict on whose life force was actually used to power the Mantella. The official narrative says Xarexy used his own, while others claim he trapped the heart of Ysmir Wulfharth. And even others yet claim that its creation cost the heart of Tiber Septim himself. It has also been suggested that Wulfharth and Tiber were both mortal avatars of Lorkhan. As said earlier in the video, the Numidium was eventually attacked by one or another manifestation of the Underking, resulting in its destruction and the Mantella being cast into Aetherius, where it came to rest at what is now called the Mantellan Crux. This resting place was discovered by the sorceress Nulfaga, who is also the Dowager Queen of Daggerfall. However, she went mad in 3rd Era 403 and retreated to her castle in the Rothgarian Mountains, following the murder of her son, King Lysandus of Daggerfall. In 3rd Era 405, the protagonist of Daggerfall, the Agent, was sent to investigate the death of King Lysandus and discover why his ghost was haunting the kingdom of Daggerfall. After bringing justice to King Lysandus' killer, Nulfaga disclosed the location of the Mantellan Crux to the Agent and sent them to recover the gem. The Mantellan Crux itself was a small, self-contained plane in Aetherius, designed like a puzzle to test those seeking the Mantella. The Crux was watched over by an entity known only as the Blind God, who took the form of a large skull. The Crux is a realm made up of floating islands within a star-filled void which required levitation to navigate safely. This realm also held structures such as the Great Pyramid and was believed to have hosted a secret entrance to Oblivion. However, this doorway to Oblivion remains unconfirmed. I send you now to the Mantellan Crux, the safeguarded prison of the Mantella. Look for a green jewel of unusual size. Merely touch the Mantella, and it is freed. You will be sent back to my side. A partial quote from Nulfaga as she sends you to retrieve the Mantella in the Elder Scrolls II Daggerfall. One more important person to give some attention due to his role with Numidium is the Underking. Like I've said before, some sources conflict on who the Underking actually was and what his specific role in some events was. The official story, which is also backed by the Underking's own claims in Daggerfall, is that the heart of Xarexy became the Mantella, and Arctis later became the Underking. Centuries ago, Tiber Septim ruled the land and forged an empire with the great Numidium. The secret of Numidium's power lies in its heart, carried within the Mantella. It is the heart of Tiber Septim's battle mage. It is my heart carried within the Mantella. It belongs to me and to none other. I have won and lost an empire. I have no desire to tamper further with mortal affairs. I have in my possession Necromancer's Amulet, one of the world's greatest artifacts. You may have it in exchange for the totem. A quote from the Underking in Daggerfall. The heretical account claims that the Underking was truly Ysmir Wulfharth, a first-era High King of Skyrim, who periodically returned to life and was believed to be a mortal avatar of Shor or Lorcan. A later incarnation of his, the Ash King, is said to have been present to fight the Dwemer at Red Mountain, and again in Second Era 572 to help repel the Second Akaviri invasion. Some accounts of that later battle refer to him as the Underking. Wulfharth the Underking was an advisor and a secret ally to Hjalti Earlybeard, who would later become Tiber Septim. A falling out supposedly occurred between the two when Tiber Septim opted to sign an armistice with Morrowind instead of launching an invasion, as Wulfharth was said to have had a major grudge against the elves. When it was discovered the Mantella would require a powerful life source, however, Tiber Septim was said to have laid a trap, alongside Zurin Arctis. Tiber and Zurin invited Wulfharth to a meeting under the pretense that they would be plotting to attack the Tribunal of Morrowind, despite having acquired the Numidium. Wulfharth returned to help plan this attack, but was met instead by an Imperial force, wherein a battle ensued, and Zurin Arctis soul-trapped Wulfharth. As he died, Wulfharth's heart tore a hole in Zurin Arctis' chest, killing him. The Emperor then collected the Mantella and hid the incident by claiming his battle mage had perished while attempting a coup. Numidium was then used to conquer the Somerset Isle, and shortly afterwards, an undead wizard appeared and blew the Numidium to pieces before being crushed in its death throes. Thank you to anyone who stuck around. I hope you enjoyed the lore, and if you'd like more in the future, please like and subscribe.